History often highlights groups and individuals who utilized innovation, strategy, and courage to achieve dominance. Among them, the Mongols and the Comanche stand out as two of the most remarkable peoples whose mastery of mounted combat and horse archery reshaped the dynamics of their respective regions. Despite originating in vastly different times and locations, their stories intersect in ways that emphasize the profound connections between culture, environment, and military adaptation. The Comanche story begins with their Shoshone roots in the rugged terrain of the Rocky Mountains. Initially, they lived as a branch of the Shoshone people, engaging in a subsistence lifestyle that relied on hunting and gathering to navigate the challenging environment. Their way of life was defined by resourcefulness and resilience. However, the introduction of horses to the Americas in the 16th century, following the Spanish colonization, set the stage for a transformative shift. By the early 18th century, the Comanche had fully embraced the horse, developing into some of the most skilled equestrians in history. This new mobility enabled them to expand southward and dominate the Great Plains. Their territory, known as Comancheria, became a powerful hub for trade and influence, encompassing modern-day Texas, New Mexico, Oklahoma, Kansas, and parts of other surrounding regions. The Comanche's adaptation to the plains environment was revolutionary. The region, abundant with buffalo, provided the Comanche with an essential resource that defined their way of life. The horse allowed unparalleled access to buffalo herds, enabling efficient hunting. Buffalo became central to Comanche society, providing food, clothing, shelter materials, tools, and spiritual significance. This abundance supported population growth and allowed the Comanche to channel their energies into honing their skills as hunters and warriors, making them a dominant force in the region. Centuries before the Comanche rose to power, the Mongols emerged from the windswept steppes of Central Asia, a region defined by its vast, open landscapes and harsh beauty. The Mongol homeland, a land of extremes, forged a people who were resilient, resourceful, and deeply attuned to their environment. It was within this challenging setting that the Mongols developed the skills and unity that would later enable them to create the largest contiguous empire in history. Before Genghis Khan united the Mongol tribes in the early 13th century, the steppes were a fragmented patchwork of warring clans. Leadership was often dictated by a combination of strength, strategic acumen, and the ability to inspire. Loyalty. In this volatile environment, Genghis Khan, born as Temujin, emerged as a unifying force. Through a mix of diplomacy, conquest, and innovative leadership, he united the Mongols and set them on a path of unprecedented expansion, stretching their dominion from the Pacific Ocean to Eastern Europe. Like the Comanche, the Mongols' success was deeply intertwined with their relationship with the horse. For the Mongols, the horse was more than a mode of transport. It was a lifeline, providing mobility, sustenance, and a strategic edge in warfare. Each Mongol warrior maintained several horses, allowing them to rotate mounts and cover vast distances with remarkable speed and endurance. This logistical advantage was one of the key factors behind the effectiveness of the Mongol army, whose mobility and adaptability revolutionized warfare. The horse was a shared catalyst of power for both the Mongols and the Comanche. For the Comanche, the horse was a foundation of cultural and economic life. Wealth and status were often measured by the number of horses one owned, and raiding rival tribes or settlers to capture horses became a rite of passage for young warriors. Similarly, for the Mongols, the horse was not just a practical asset, but a symbol of their nomadic heritage and a cornerstone of their culture. Their deep connection with their horses was reflected in every aspect of their lives, from warfare to daily survival. Mongol children learned to ride horses almost as soon as they could walk, embedding horsemanship deeply into their lives. Their existence revolved around the care and utility of these animals, which were essential for survival on the harsh steppes. In extreme scarcity, Mongols would even drink their horses' blood for sustenance, underscoring the profound interdependence between humans and their steeds. Strategies and tactics. The art of war on horseback on the battlefield. Both the Comanche and the Mongols set themselves apart through their innovative strategies and mastery of mounted warfare. The Mongols excelled in psychological warfare, using spies and scouts to gather intelligence about their enemies before engaging in combat. This intelligence allowed them to exploit weaknesses with precision. A signature Mongol tactic was the feigned retreat, where they pretended to flee only to lure their enemies into a trap. This maneuver required extraordinary discipline and coordination, skills drilled into Mongol warriors from a young age. The Comanche, while less formally organized, were masters of guerrilla warfare. Their raids were swift and devastating, targeting settlers, rival tribes, and military outposts with precision and speed. Comanche warriors often struck under the cover of darkness, or when their enemies were least prepared, leveraging surprise as their greatest weapon. Their unpredictability made them a constant threat to anyone who encroached upon Comancheria. The bow, a weapon of precision and power. The bows used by the Mongols and the Comanche were integral to their success and reflected the specific needs of their environments. Mongol composite bows were small enough to be used effectively on horseback, yet powerful enough to penetrate armor. These bows were crafted from a combination of wood, horn, and sinew, materials that provided exceptional strength and flexibility. Skilled Mongol archers could shoot arrows with remarkable accuracy over long distances, often giving them the upper hand in battle. In contrast, the Comanche used bows made from Osage orange wood, a material prized for its durability and elasticity. While these bows lacked the range of the Mongols' composite weapons, they were perfectly suited to the Comanche style of close-quarters combat during raids. Their bows were lightweight and highly maneuverable, aligning with the speed and precision of their guerrilla tactics. Cultural dimensions of warfare. For both the Mongols and the Comanche, warfare was not merely a practical necessity, but a defining aspect of their cultural identity. For the Mongols, warfare was tied to Genghis Khan's vision of uniting the world under a single banner. He famously declared his mission to bring all peoples under the eternal blue sky, creating an empire where trade, cultural exchange, and conquest coexisted. This ambition resulted in a vast, multi-ethnic empire that connected diverse civilizations and facilitated the spread of ideas, technologies, and even diseases along the Silk Road. For the Comanche, warfare was rooted in the need to maintain dominance over the southern plains and protect their way of life. Their resistance to colonization was both a struggle for survival and a fight to preserve their culture, traditions, and autonomy. The Comanches' wars were a defense of their sovereignty and a response to the encroachment of settlers and rival groups. Interactions with other peoples, the Mongols and the Comanche, significantly shaped the histories of the peoples they encountered. The Mongols' conquest brought them into contact with a wide array of cultures, from the Chinese and Persians to the Russians and Europeans. While their initial invasions were often marked by brutality, the Mongols facilitated cultural exchange and technological diffusion across their empire, transforming the Silk Road into a conduit for goods and ideas. The Comanches' interactions with other groups were equally complex. Their dominance over the southern plains placed them at the center of trade networks, diplomacy, and conflict. They traded with European settlers and other tribes, integrating new technologies like firearms into their culture while fiercely resisting encroachment on their lands. These interactions shaped the dynamics of the southern plains and left a lasting legacy on the region's history. The Comanche forged alliances and engaged in trade with European settlers while simultaneously waging relentless wars against encroaching powers. Their ability to adapt to changing circumstances, whether by adopting firearms, forming strategic alliances, or leveraging their deep knowledge of the southern plains, was a testament to their resilience and ingenuity. Decline and legacy. The decline of the Comanche and the Mongols was influenced by external forces beyond their control. For the Comanche, the destruction of the buffalo herds, a critical resource for their survival, and the steady encroachment of settlers armed with superior technology and firearms marked the end of their dominance over the southern plains. For the Mongols, the fragmentation of their empire after Genghis Khan's successors, combined with the rise of gunpowder weapons and fortified defenses in the regions they sought to conquer, heralded their eventual downfall. However, both groups left enduring legacies. The Mongols are remembered as the architects of one of history's largest and most influential empires, a force that reshaped the medieval world through their conquests and the facilitation of trade and cultural exchange across Eurasia. The Comanche, on the other hand, are celebrated as symbols of resistance and resilience. Their story is a testament to the power of adaptation, the strength of cultural identity, and the indomitable spirit of a people determined to protect their way of life against overwhelming odds. A hypothetical showdown, imagining a hypothetical clash between the Comanche and the Mongols, offers a fascinating exploration of their respective strengths. The Mongols, with their superior numbers, advanced organization, and military strategies, might have held an advantage in a direct confrontation. Their use of disciplined formations, psychological warfare, and composite bows capable of long-range precision could have been decisive. However, the Comanche's intimate knowledge of the southern plains, combined with their guerrilla tactics, lightning-fast raids, and mastery of close-quarters combat, would have posed significant challenges to even the most organized force. Their ability to use the terrain to their advantage and execute unpredictable strikes would have made them formidable opponents. Ultimately, the true value of such comparisons lies not in determining a victor, but in appreciating the ingenuity, adaptability, and cultural significance of these two remarkable groups. Their histories remind us of the enduring power of innovation, the importance of preserving cultural identity, and the profound bond between humanity and the horse, a bond that shaped civilizations and altered the course of history.